I want to teach you something. Yiddishkeit is not painful. It's not supposed to hurt. If his pious hurt him and made him depressed, that's not a good thing. He has to have a refuah shalema. Pious is hur vach tzirik. We need our kids to be healthy. We need our kids to be happy. Yiddishkeit is not supposed to be a painful experience. And if Yiddishkeit is hurting you, then there's something very wrong. And you got to stop doing it for a while. You have to recover. The Basayin, the Avritcha, that's what he wrote to a family. He said, right now the Torah is making him worse. Don't let him learn any Torah. For a shtik tzait, I don't know how long it was until he recovered, and then afterwards he came back. Torah is zis, the Basayin from Avrich. Torah is zis. Torah is supposed to be beautiful. And the Nesiv Shalom says that just like in physical illness, you could find somebody that is so sick that sweet tastes bitter and bitter tastes sweet. You go to the hospital and he tells me, bring me a coffee. You make a coffee, you put in sugar. He tastes it, he says, what did you put in here, salt? So you go ahead, you make another coffee, you put in salt, and he tastes it. Zazis. Says the Nesiv Shalom, just like in physical illness, so too in Ruchnius, a person can have a Ruchnius spiritual sickness, that what is Zis, Torah is Zis, Dvash Minoifis Tzufim, right? Is Masuk Midvash, tastes bitter, and Kimotza Aniyas Ha'isha Mar Mimavis, all of a sudden tastes sweet. That's what it says in the Nesiv Shalom. And a person has twisted taste buds, you have to heal them. You can go ahead and give him more sweet. It's not going to help because to him it tastes nebuch bitter. More sweet and more sweet, don't shtip the sweet. You have to make them healthy. When they get healthy and they say, oh, this tastes good to me, Torah is zis, I put on tefillin, it feels good, right? Then they could put on tefillin. I'll tell you a story, true story. There was a boy who got nebuch severely traumatized when he started putting on tefillin. And the smell of his tefillin triggered his trauma. So he told me, he said, I didn't put on tefillin already for a few years. He tells me, can you imagine, I was in yeshiva. Do you know, this is what he told me, like this, do you know what 300 pair of tefillin smells like? Chmana litzlan. To me it smells very yummy. To him it was poison. Do you know what 300, I was surrounded by, traumatized. Tefillin is not supposed to be painful. So he came to Home Sweet Home. Baruch Hashem, we gave him simcha, we boosted him, we saw the TP miracle. And finally, after many months, he told me, I want to put on tefillin. And I've been pushing it off, so I decided next week, Sunday, I'm going to put on tefillin. And it was so hard for him to think about it because of the smell. So I was Matzah Shabbos by Havdalah. I made middle of Havdalah, Bayrei Minei B'Samim. I smelled the B'Samim. And I thought of an idea. The Eibishter gave me Siyata D'Shmaya. I took the whole B'Samim and I put it into a mesh bag. And I went to Home Sweet Home and I put it inside the tefillin zekel. Sunday morning he came, he was shaking. He was sweating from the triggers of his trauma, which was very, very bad. And he was so scared. And he opened up the zekel and the whole room smelled from B'Samim. He puts on tefillin every day since then. Wow. We have to heal the pain. As long as Yiddishkeit is painful, I don't want them doing it. It's keeping the allergy alive. It's not healthy for them. I have a friend of mine that he had Crohn's disease, and there's a certain diet, and the idea of the diet is that basically, if I understand this correctly, the sickness feeds off of wheat. But if you don't give any wheat at all, then it dies. So for 2 years, you can't even put in one morsel of wheat. And then the disease, whatever it is, dies, and then you could eat. He eats pizza, he eats everything. It worked very well for him. He speaks public events for this diet. I forgot what it's called, but it's a famous diet. Basically, you have to starve out the disease. If during those 2 years you eat a little bit, it's mechayer the disease. Sometimes from our kids, sometimes when they're off the derech, the Torah is actually hurting them. they get a little bit of Torah and they have such a reaction for it, and they remember all the traumas and all the triggers. It's actually not healthy for them sometimes. When they get healthy, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to learn a little bit, they're going to enjoy it. Let me tell you a true story. All my stories are true. The first boy came to Home Sweet Home. He lived on the street for 4 years. He was the toughest, roughest kid. I got into the story not for now, how I met him and how he spit in my face and I chased him and I got him. It's a whole story. Anyway, Home Sweet Home was not open yet. I was opening up after Pesach, and he moved into my house 6 weeks before Pesach. He came for Shabbos. I invited him. Matzah Shabbos, it was very nice. Matzah Shabbos, he tells me, I just found out that the place I was staying, they let me in from the street. They told me I can't come back. Can I stay here? So I asked my wife. I never had any experience. The first boy, a total stranger. He stole from the people before me. He was a ganef. And I said, okay, you could stay till Friday. And then we extended it another week. He ended up staying by me. Purim, Pesach, after Pesach, May 3rd, he moved in. 2003, he moved into Home Sweet Home. He was my first boy. So he's by me now. Let's rewind. He's by me Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I told him, there's no program, there's no Home Sweet Home. He's staying in my house. I have little kids, I have a wife, so here's the deal. I get up in the morning, I go to shul, you go with me. You don't have to daven, nothing. You go with me to shul, afterwards you go with me to work. You sit on my couch, do whatever you do, you come home with me at night. So he said, okay, he didn't have a brayer. He had nowhere to go. So we went to shul in the morning, he stood in the back, and we davened in Sasregen. Rabbi Reuben from Sasregen needs a refuah shalema, a yid at Tzaddik. This is 16 years ago. And he was an old man even then. And he went in the back to this bacher, sitting in the back, and he went over to him, a kliga yid. What do you think he said? Maybe you want to put on tefillin? No. He went over to him, he saw what's going on. He said, would you like a coffee? Can I get you some cake? He looks at him, nah, I don't need anything. He went and made him a coffee, cut some cake and brought it to him, put it down at the table, like a loose dog. He showed him, I'm not here to attack you, don't bite me. He put it down, he moved it over to him. The next day again, and the next day again, and the next day again. And he finally put his arm around a little bit, a coffee, a cake. In the second week, Wednesday night, when we were going to bed, he was going upstairs and I was going to my room, he tells me, oh, I can't believe this. I told the rabbi I'm going to start putting tefillin on Sunday. I told him. He didn't want to promise to do it now, so he promised Sunday. A lot of times when they can't be makabel something for now, they say Sunday. Can't believe I promised it to him. I don't know why I promised it to him. He let himself get into it. He let himself, get pushed into it because of the cake and the cookies. You do a toiva begashmias. And then the person opens up to you, and then he told him, no, maybe you put on tefillin. Sunday I will. Came Sunday, and he came to shul with me, and he put on tefillin for the first time in many, many years. He was standing there. I gave him an art scroll siddur, and he said Shema. That's all he said. Shema, v'ahavta, v'hoya, l'man, v'yomer. That's it. Took off his tefillin afterwards, and he tells me, it's beautiful. I never knew what this means. I read the English, the art scroll that you gave me. This was an amazing experience. If he would have gotten the tefillin on any time earlier, it would have been a disgusting experience for him. He would have felt famished by it. It has to be at the right time. Yismach leiv mevakshe Hashem. Our job is to make them healthy enough so they can do things and it feels good. As long as the Torah and the Yiddish Welt is feeling bad, it's not a good thing. If they are uncomfortable wearing this on their head, don't tell them to wear it. It's not going to endear them to it. It doesn't make them want it. We don't want our kids to wear a yarmulke. We want our kids to want to wear a yarmulke. We don't want our kids to put on tefillin. We want our kids to want to put on tefillin. The ratzon for things that are good cannot come from pressure. To have the ratzon recreated, that ich will, I want to be a part of your community. That's the chachma. Because once you get the ratzon to be like us, they're going to do it on their own. Then they're already a fully motorized vehicle going in the right direction. But as long as they're driving down the other way, you're trying to pull them and change them, it's never going to work. Our entire job, if you're looking at it from that perspective, my main thing is they should be healthy. But if you want to know how to be makarev, yismach leiv mevakshe Hashem. Get their ratzon to want to be like you. Why would they want to be like you? Because you're amazing. If you yell, you scream, you criticize, you're nervous, they're not going to want to be like you. If they see you're miserable, you're depressed, they're going to say, why would I want to be from? You think I want to be like you? We tell them, Yiddishkeit is beautiful. Yeah, it doesn't look beautiful to me. So we have to remember to work on ourselves. We have to show our kids that when I'm in a bad mood, I go learn and I feel better. I feel better when I learn. I have lachatz. I go daven to Hashem. I feel better. We have to show them that we enjoy this. It's supposed to feel good. But if we show them that we're miserable, we're nervous, we're angry, we're upset, we're depressed, we're frustrated, we're angry, and if they're stuck on the derech, maybe they're not going to notice too much. But if they're off the derech, they're going to say, why would I want that? Doesn't calm you down. Right? So think about it. What do we really believe? We believe that if you have a relationship with Hashem, you can talk to Him. And He's the best therapist in the world. So you have to make sure that when you talk to Hashem, you look better than when you left the therapist office. We have to really feel this. We have to really, these kids are making us become honest with ourselves. Right? If I look at the way when they came back and they put on tefillin, this kid didn't put on tefillin in a long time. He told me, when I put on tefillin now, it's like I'm connecting to Hashem. I felt so bad. I felt so bad for me. Do I feel that? I have to remind myself. I'm supposed to feel. We do it all the time so we don't feel so much. This kid told me he went off the derech after he was married, and now, years later, he got married again, and he's settled, and he's from. He came here to group. He said, every time I put on a talis, I feel like Hashem is hugging me. I am so jealous. I don't feel like Hashem is hugging me. You have to go off the derech in order to come back, and then you feel it. We have to start bringing the hergeshim and showing our kids, Yismach Lev, Mevakshi Hashem, and we're happy, and we love Yiddishkeit, and we love davening, and we love everything that we're doing, because if otherwise we do it with a Verbisenkeit, they don't want to be like us. So we have to be a dugma ishis. We have to be a personal example for Yiddishkeit. When I had all the mentors, the guys who came to Home Sweet Home, the volunteers, took out the guys for fun. I had to give them training. We learned on the job. In the beginning, there was a guy. He's a friend of mine. He's a great guy. But he used to be cool when he was a kid. So he took the guys out, and he wanted to show them, I'm cool. So he said some things that were not so appropriate. He cursed a little bit. He wanted to go down to their level. They didn't like that. They don't want you to curse. They don't want you to go down to their level. Only to accept them, but not to lower your standards. You don't have to curse. You just have to accept that they talk like that. They told me, I met with all of them, and they were telling me, this volunteer, he's trying to be cool. He's not like us. He was cursing. You know who curses? Truck drivers curse. That's what they told me. They all curse. They know that that's not a way. But a guy who's married and he's settled with kids should talk like a truck driver? Not at all. He says he shouldn't be looking at women when he was driving. They were very upset by that. And I told them, we have to be us. We accept them. If they lean out the window and scream, don't give them musar. But you don't do it. You show them that we're happy being from. If you go daven, show them that I'm davening, and it brings, like for real, like it really does. It brings me serenity into my life. I have bitachon, I have emunah. It does something for me. I'm not like a guy who's not from. So we have to really become personal examples for all of these things. You are a personal example. You cling to Hashem, you say your tehillim, it uplifts you. You go through tsaris, and you have your rabbanim that you go to, you have emunas chachamim. All of these things is basically, you have to impress them and make them, you're a salesman. You have to make them want to be from. If they look at you and they don't want to be from, they're not going to be from. So you have to bring peace into your life and make Yiddishkeit what it is supposed to be. When we sell it to Nesha Torah and Chabad, what do we tell people? Become frum. It's great. Is it really great? If it's really great, why do you look so miserable? So you have to make sure you don't look miserable. I have bitachon, everything's going to be fine, I have emunah. They have to hear that. And all of a sudden they spill something and we yell at them. What happened to emunah and bitachon? What happened to gamzu, taiva? Try this at home. Something goes wrong, and you say, gamzu l'taiva. It's okay. Just try that at home. Try that at home. A kid messes up, a normal kid, a healthy kid, a regular kid. He messes up, and look at him and say, Even though you want to say, I told you 16 times, don't do that, da, 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 da. Look at him and say, it's okay. I love you more than my car. Right? It's okay. Gamzu l'tayla. And you'll see that they'll realize there's something here that we have that they want. Yeah. You see, pious is not supposed to be painful. The moment that this thing is pulling his head into the ground, and he's depressed, and he's depressed because of it, and he's in bed, this already becomes not a good thing. It becomes a bad thing. Yarmulke is not supposed to be painful. If somebody has pain wearing a yarmulke, they shouldn't wear the yarmulke. Take it off, recover, and then put it back on. We're never going to make them want it unless we let them heal. Yiddishkeit is not painful.